Hey guys, Squarepainter here. So I'm going to be doing reviews of retro games, but focusing more on the art and the design of them. And first up, it's Double Dragon. So that has to be the most no bullshit opener to any video game ever. You know exactly what you have to do.
Double Dragon was released in the US by Technos in 1988 when Nintendo was really hitting their stride. The first release was 2 years earlier called Renegade and is considered the spiritual successor to it. Character designs in both, especially Double Dragon, set the groundwork for all the later games in the Kunio-kun series like River City Ransom, Crash and the Boys Street Challenge, and Super Dodgeball. So you play as Billy Lee, the martial arts ninja badass who has to go rescue his girlfriend Marion from the super evil Shadow Warriors. The sprites are all well drawn and each character has their own distinct design. Animations for the punches and kicks work well, especially for the later moves that you learn, like the roundhouse, the hair pull, and that super powerful jump kick that you learn when you max out your hearts. All these moves are part of a fictional martial arts style called successor, which I guess has the fighting stance of keeping your fists tucked at your sides at all times. The basic street thugs are decked out in their wife-beater ripped jeans combo, and the Lindas in their spandex one-piece buns of steel outfits. Then you have Chintai, who is so ripped and badass, he doesn't even need a shirt. You want to make fun of my purple mop-top haircut? Have a couple of quick punches right to the face. Speaking of badass and shirtless, we have everyone's favorite, the fucking Abobo. And have you ever really looked at his design? He must be taking head steroids and skipping leg day because his shaved melon is as big as his lower torso. But whatever, you don't mess with anyone that smashes through a solid rock wall just to give you a beatdown. But on the bright side, however, he looks a little better than his movie counterpart.
It's okay, Abobo. I'd cry too.
Aside from the plot being the basic revenge, rescue, your girlfriend story, Double Dragon has a pretty grim outlook and it takes place after a nuclear war. You can totally see this from the gross, murky color of the sky in Mission 1 and that pukey pink color in Mission 3. The game itself takes a lot of influence from the kung fu and gang movies that were popular at the time, and most notably would be Enter the Dragon and The Warriors. Funny thing to note is that the names Roper and Williams both came from Enter the Dragon, even though Roper was the white dude played by John Saxon, and Williams was the black dude played by Jim Kelly. At least they kept it somewhat faithful with that sort of red afro thing that Williams is rocking. Each level has a very distinct feel and color scheme, ranging from the browns and grays of the city slums, the blues and grays of the industrial area, the browns and greens of the forest, and the dull shades of gray for the final hideout. So I guess you have two Empire State Buildings back there. That's cool, I guess. I always loved hitting up the Grigger store down the street from my old apartment too. It's good to see that they kept that in the game. Mission 2 feels like it's in a rundown factory or one that was abandoned during construction with piles of girders in the background and the scaffolding you climb at the end. Throwing enemies into pits are always so satisfying, but then again, so is throwing a giant firecracker right into someone's face. I always love the detail on the pipes that you have up there too. They look like they were cast out of iron and copper, and those small valves at the bottom are a really nice touch. Now the third mission is where the game really ramps up the difficulty, with it being longer than both missions 1 and 2 combined. You have bad guys jumping out of trees, throwing knives, and now bosses from the previous missions showing up as regular enemies. That damn jump over the broken bridge with the Williams waiting on the other side, ready to throw a knife at you, was always one of my favorite parts. So this mission could pretty much be broken down into 2 levels, the forest being the first and the caves being the second. I always thought it was a cheap move too. If you walk to the right instead of going into the caves after defeating those 2 Abobos at the end of the level, that the whole thing would repeat again. I mean, how is a kid in 1988 without internet or the right Nintendo Power issue gonna know to do that? Cave area starts off not fucking around at all. You have these ice cream cone looking stalactites bigger than you raining down on your head, and they have no distinct pattern whatsoever. Your best chance is just to run and pray. The platforming element thrown in mixes it up a bit, and even with the slightly stiff controls, it works. Despite the walls in the back looking kind of like bubble wrap, it gives you the feel like you're inside of a volcano and there are lava bubbles that form those holes. The second area of the caves is a more hectic feel, where the colors flash from blue to red like an alarm is going off because you've gotten so far into the enemy's base. You know it's serious because there's enemies throwing rocks at you from off camera, like, we're not even going to try anymore and fight this guy, just crush him with fucking rocks. And if that wasn't enough, you have 2 more Abobos waiting at the bottom, and they're now Hulk green in their white underwear, and they come crashing through the wall. Now, at least you only have to fight them one at a time, which isn't too bad. There's a pretty cool glitch here. If you position him just right against the wall, you can knock him through it and down into the pit. Now, the final part of the level has you climbing down a series of cliffs to the Shadow Warrior's hideout. Gotta love the almost endless supply of Lindas that come pouring out of those caves after you. Keep kicking them and you'll get them into a hair pull and toss them right over the side, and that's so satisfying. Outside of the hideout is pretty damn creepy too if you can get down there and see that door with those weird carved faces on the door. Now, the layout for the hideout is insane if you just think about it. Is that giant menacing skull over the door really necessary? You'd think they would fix the damn holes in the floor too. I mean, you live here, right? I wonder if each gang member has some wireless remote to turn off the brick traps so they can walk by and get to those creepy as fuck Cyclops heads safely. The second part is just madness and looks like something straight out of a Bruce Lee movie. Got elevators placed at random, tiny platforms, random doors that are apparently all connected that the enemies come pouring out of. I guess all that's missing is a room of mirrors and some nutcase with a claw hand chasing you. Love the random hieroglyphs in the wall too, near the exit, and that completely unnecessary giant gold head that you have to walk through. But the last area is the perfect lair for any final boss. You got this giant menacing door leading out to a carpeted fighting arena with a pit of spikes. Seriously, I want that shit in my living room. So after running a gauntlet of every enemy you've faced so far, you come to the supreme badass himself, Willie, who's so badass he has to fight you with a damn machine gun. Now, as long as you keep your distance and watch his patterns, he's not too difficult. But wait, now you have to fight the supreme badass himself. Your brother Jimmy Lee. Whoa, I bet you guys thought it was over. I like the pale-skinned, blonde-haired Aryan look that they gave to him. Very cute. He puts up a hell of a fight, but once you beat him, Marion is once again yours. Just look at that room they kept her in, completely furnished with a bed, couches, and plants, and was even nice enough to give her a little kitty to keep her company. And isn't that the only thing we need, is just a cat to keep us company? What a jerk.
Hey guys, so thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and let me know in the comments below what you'd like to see me do next.